Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for being here for our mandatory sexual harassment training for employees. This has been established for the Caffeine Fox Company. You will be seeing a presentation, and at the end of the presentation, you will be taking a quiz, which you all need to get 100% on. So please pay attention. This slide is going over the details of sexual harassment training. It is not required by federal law. However, each state has certain legislation which specifically requires the training for that state. As far as Florida goes, it is not mandatory that every employee has to take this training. It is policy with the Caffeine Fox Company that everybody take this training initially at the point of hire and once a year thereafter as a refresher. If you want to look up more details of the administrative code for Florida, I have left the information you need to search right here. At the end of this session, you will be able to explain what sexual harassment is, state why it's important to prevent sexual harassment in our workplace. You will be able to describe the Caffeine Fox policy and procedures for responding and reporting incidents of sexual harassment. And you will also be able to understand your responsibilities under our policy and procedure. Sexual harassment comes in many different forms, whether it be unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, or other conduct of a sexual nature, whether it be verbal or physical, that affects an individual's employment, messes with their work performance, or creates a hostile work environment. We will go over these in a little bit more detail in the next slides. Sexual harassment comes in a few different forms, two of them listed here. Quid pro quo is, say, if somebody's offering, say, a promotion for a sexual advancement, favor. Another one is a hostile work environment. This can be found with actual touching. This can be found with verbal sexual harassment. We'll go over these in a little more detail. Quid pro quo has been found in workplaces in many different forms. This is tangible employment against the victim. Now, the victim could be per se an employee and a manager isn't paying them as much but offers to put them on the same scale if they go out with them or something of that nature. There is a monetary threat that intimidates the victim into dealing with things that they should not have to for sake of their job. The next type of sexual harassment is hostile work environment. This is speech or conduct that is severe and or pervasive enough to create an abusive or hostile work environment. In this example, we see that Matt Mahoney is leering, what we call elevator eyes, and intentionally brushing against Nicole Davis. Now, he's making her feel very uncomfortable because of the attention that he is giving her that is unnecessary and obtrusive at this point in time, as well as touching her without permission, which is not acceptable in the workplace. Another example of a hostile work environment is having visual suggestiveness around the workplace. Say Janice Jones has a 9-inch to 12-inch calendar of nude males on her cubicle wall visible to passerbys. People seeing things that are lewd or lascivious in this nature can be very uncomfortable with the situation and would be very likely to feel violated. Many people can be involved in sexual harassment. There's two types: those who commit, who are creating the crimes, which are employees at all levels, customers, and members of the same sex as well as opposing sexes. And those who are targeted, which are the victims, the bystanders who see these things, and in some cases, the witnesses who are affected by the harassment. Why it's important to prevent sexual harassment in our workplace. Sexual harassment can harm everybody in the workplace. It can tarnish our corporate values. It can make people uncomfortable. It can make people feel violated. It can cause a decline in not only the reputation from the company, but it can also cause people not to want to come back to the business or feel pressured while they're in the business. This all can affect the bottom line of a company, and it is a complete conflict with values. So it is important to make sure that sexual harassment does not happen in the workplace. Another reason why it's important to prevent sexual harassment in the workplace is because workplaces have to fall into compliance with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, which prohibits sexual discrimination, and as well as similar state civil rights laws and fair employment laws that protect companies from lawsuits and malpractice. There is a chain of command that one needs to follow when making a case against sexual harassment in the workplace. The first step is to go to a manager privately and explain the situation so the manager can report this and put an end to it. If by chance the manager is the person creating the sexual harassment or is unavailable at the time, it is policy to go to the next step up, which is to report this to our human resource managers so they can deal with the issues at hand. If there is not a human resource manager available or nothing happens at this level, and only if you cannot reach out to this level, should you move up to the operations manager and speak to the operations manager so they can handle this. The information listed below will give you contacts to reach out. If you need these at a further time, please look back to this. We will also have a handout for you in which you'll have the information to reach out if necessary. It is your responsibility to know and comply with our policies and procedures. Report incidents that you experience directly or witness. Cooperate with investigators who will be asking questions about such situations. And support victims as they need without getting fully involved. In summary, sexual harassment is unwelcome sexual advances, a request for sexual favors, and other forms of verbal or physical contact of a sexual nature that infects an individual's employment, unreasonably interferes with his or her work performance, or creates an intimidating, hostile, or offensive work environment. The two major forms of sexual harassment are quid pro quo and hostile work environment. Because sexual harassment affects and harms everybody in the workplace, it is important to prevent sexual harassment. It conflicts with corporate value that all employees are treated with respect as well as dignity. Sexual harassment is illegal under federal and state laws and will be prosecuted. Your responsibilities regarding prevention of sexual harassment at the Caffeine Fox are to Know and comply with our policies and procedures. Report incidents that you experience directly or witness. Cooperate with investigations and support victims. There is a link below in which you'll find a course evaluation. Please be sure that you complete this course evaluation in that link below. You must receive 100% to successfully complete this course. Thank you very much for your time and interest.